On that day, I will make the clans of Judah like a brazier in a wood pile, like a flaming torch among sheaves. They will consume all the surrounding peoples right and left. But Jerusalem will remain intact in her place. Zechariah 12 and verse 6, activating the fire of God. Amazing. Let's just pick the benefit of this fire. They will consume all the surrounding peoples right and left. I keep on repeating again and again. We are living in a world that is characterized of very high-end competition. When you raise up and you think you have your own sphere of operation, you realize you are surrounded right and left by peoples. And peoples speaks of different personalities with selfish interests that are geared towards doing away with you. And according to God, the only way for you to counter, win and conquer is if you consume them. You consume them. Because he has highlighted two benefits here about walking with the fire of God. You consume the people, but you remain intact in your praise. Wow. So these two blessings, we can walk with them if only we become a brazen, is it brazier or brazen torch? If we become a brazier, if we become a flaming torch. People, you see these people, you see witches, sorcerers, naysayers, your enemies and all that, the Bible calls them woody piles. The Lord calls them woody piles and sheaves. So they are not as a threat as they seem to be, but they become a threat if we are not operating in our true exact identity. But the Bible is calling us a brazier, a flaming torch, Geshiga. And this is a kind of a people. This is a kind of a person. Individually, we are becoming. We are reaching to a point whereby we cannot allow people, the way it has been written, people, they can be in the form of demonic forces. They can be in the form of a congregation of human committee of naysayers. We normally call them committee or hochafu. If we are surrounded with a people that you never know how to defeat them, become a flaming torch, become a brazier. Because when you become a brazier, they become pile of wood. When you become a flaming torch, they become sheaves that you set on fire, and they burn up, and they are consumed, and they are no more, and the case is closed. Number two, Jerusalem will remain in, okay, let's just read the way it is written. But Jerusalem will remain intact in her place. What we call firm establishment. When you're with the fire of God, what you experience is stability. You remain intact in your place. So you remain established in your official position. So we cannot just ignore the art of becoming a flaming torch. Because the moment you become a flaming torch, number one, we will remain intact in our praise. So number one, the fire makes you be in your praise and then be intact. Those are the three blessings. The fire makes you be in your praise, your official position. And then you remain intact, firmly established. And this is very powerful. Because what many people are looking for are the dynamics of how they can stabilize their lives, on how their life can somehow resonate with the pressures of life and be able to work out any issue that is in your life without having to give in or to give way. Become a flaming torch. Become a brazier. So the question then is, what will be dependent upon for Judah to become a brazier and to become a flaming torch? We don't have anything outside that name, Judah. Praises. Judah means praise. And God has said Judah will become a brazier, will become a flaming torch. So if that verse does not direct us to anything that can teach us anything, then the secret is in the person being addressed. And the person being addressed is Judah. And Judah, his mother called him praise. For Judah means praise. So if we are going to know the secret of praising God, worshiping God, thanking God, adoring God, elevating God, acknowledging God, uplifting God above other gods, being a Judah, becoming a Judah. Remember, Judah again means mantle. Means mantle. If you read Genesis 49, when Jacob was blessing Judah, he said, and the scepter of leadership, the staff of Erura, will remain between your knees until it goes back to the one it belongs to, Shiloh, Jesus Christ. So two things, if we may not have so much. Number three is Judah was called by his father a lion, or a lion's cub, what we call the attitude of bravery. Because you just studied Judah. Because God has said Judah is one who will become a brazier. So study Judah. Number one, praises. That's about Judah. Number two, you have said is what? Praises. Number two, we have said is the mantle of God inside you. And number three is the lion in nature. That was called boldness, being a fighter. That if you read that chapter, the whole of it is speaking of Judah will fight and God will help them. So those three things enables us to become a brazier and a flaming torch. We